Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zack and today I am driving a 2024 Nissan Z Performance. Up front is a 3.0 liter twin turbo V6 and down below is a 6-speed manual transmission. Now I am super excited to be driving this Nissan Z because Nissan has loaned this to me for the next 24 hours while I'm here in Detroit, Michigan. So it's not a full week review. However, I've spent a lot of time in it, a lot of time driving it, and I have plenty of thoughts to share with you today. But if you would like to submit your own vehicle, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. But let's get back to the heart, which is a twin-turbo V6, putting out 3.0 liters of displacement. Well, that is new for this generation of Z. It makes 400 horsepower, which is fantastic, and I absolutely love it. And I also love the fact that the older Z actually came with a turbo V6 as its highest option. So it really harkens back to it. This does feel like a throwback car, and we'll talk about that with a couple other things. Like I said, paired to it is a 6-speed manual. So when I came up here to Detroit, Nissan said, would you like the Nismo that only comes in automatic, or would you like the Z Performance that comes in manual? And I said, give me the manual! And I was so excited to drive a manual car. However, getting into it, driving it, shifting it, unfortunately, it's fantastic. It's a great shifter. It feels notchy. It has tons of tactile feedback. When you get on and off the gas, the shifter sort of lurches forward a little bit. I like that physical connection. Hyundai, if you're out there with your Elantra N, take notes. The clutch is great. It has very good feeling to it, lots of pedal feel, and I adore that. It feels like a driver's car. If you buy this car in automatic, I really truly believe that you're missing something special. Not that the automatic is bad, but this is something special, and we'll talk more about that with the final thoughts. It's a very special car. Last but not least, of course, the Z Performance is rear-wheel drive. So how does it feel to drive the Nissan Z? It's great. It does everything I want it to. That power is right where I want it to, on a highway on-ramp, putting my foot to the floor. It's so much fun. The shifter, very tactile, gives me tons of feelings and emotions. Visibility is a downside, not great visibility. And the ride is a little harsh, but it is a sports car, so that's what you should expect. It's great. I love it. Let's get on to the interior. In front of me, I do have a giant digital gauge cluster. Now you can customize it around. Nissan is doing this in a lot of their vehicles. I'm actually up here in Detroit to drive the Nissan Kicks, which you already saw that video on the channel. That also now gets a fully digital dash. So really nice to see that. On the steering wheel on the left, we do have our volume selectors for that gauge cluster screen, as well as our skip tracks. And off to the right, we have our cruise control options. To the left, I get a tiny vent and our traction control button, but then on the door, we get our latch to get in and out with a bigger climate vent, power mirrors, power locks, and power windows. Moving into the center, we get 3 gauges. This has been a staple of the Nissan Z for the last 30 to 40 years. Off to the left, we have our boost pressure. Love that. In the center, we get our turbo speed, which doesn't really mean much and has no real grounding reason. So I don't love that. But then off to the right, we have our battery voltage. We have 2 climate control vents and the hazard switch down below that, and then we have our infotainment system. It is a touch screen, as well as it has wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and it does run off the standard Nissan system. I don't love this system. I also don't hate this system. It's fine. It just feels very 2014 to me, but that's okay. What also feels 2014 is the backup camera. This is by far one of the worst parts of the Nissan Z. It is very low quality, and for $55,000, I definitely deserve some nicer quality than this, but at least I have one. Down below, we have the climate controls, and we have USB-A as well as USB-C. Love to see that. Our engine start-stop button. Our S mode, or sport mode, which will enable rev match downshifting, something that was previously saved just for the Nismo trim levels, is now available on the Z Performance. And the shifter. As I said, The shifter feels great, operates really, really well, is a ton of fun. It does look kind of economy, sort of basic, but Nissan kind of knows that you're probably going to swap this out at some point for some 24-inch long, bubbly acrylic pink one. But also, it's here to serve a purpose, and I kind of like that utilitarian feel. Down below, we do have our heated seat options and our interior trunk release. Now, this is kind of a big deal because previous Nissan Zs, at least the 370Z that I drove, didn't have an interior trunk release. So they've righted their wrongs here for 2024. Then we do have a cup holder. We'll do a big freaking bottle test. However, we tested one at the Chicago Auto Show and it also failed. So this is no different. But you can open up the center console for another unpassable cup holder, but it's nice that you get the option of two. We also do, of course, get a center console itself and the seats. The seats are comfortable. They are blue, as we'll talk about with the rest of the interior, and they are power. They're half power. They're forward and backwards power, and then they're tilting power, but the bottom is actually manual. So kind of a weird mix there, but as you'll see, this interior is blue. Part of me hates it. It's a lot of blue, and it's sort of a tacky blue. However, it's cool that they offer it, and I think in 10, 15 years, when we look back on vehicles like this, I think there's going to be a conversation of, oh, remember we could get those bright blue interiors? That was so crazy in 2024. So I really, really enjoy it in that regard. I think it makes the car feel special. Again, that theme throughout, and I really enjoy it. We don't have any back seats, but we do have a trunk. Now, the trunk release is kind of interesting on the outside. It's the bottom half of the Nissan logo, but then you pull up on the trunk that's up above it. So don't pull up on the logo like I tried. You'll pull the whole rear bumper off if you're the Hulk. Once we are in the back, not a lot of space. This is all my luggage for 2 days, my filming equipment and clothes, and that pretty much maxes out the rear space. You also don't get a privacy cover, so whatever you put back there is going to be on full display of any prying eyes that come before it. So just a word to the wise, not great. Let's talk about the looks. I love the look of the Nissan Z. Again, it sort of harkens back to those older Nissan Zs. The shape of it, the rear window angle, the Z badge on the B pillar, and the front angles. I think overall this car looks really, really good. And I really like the blue. This really reminds me of the midnight blue from the 350Zs. You know, customizing them in Need for Speed Underground. Absolutely love that. With all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think finally driving the Nissan Z? Well, I say finally so exaggerated because it's been a long time coming. This car's biggest issue is that it kind of flopped out of the gate, and I don't know how much longer we're gonna have the Nissan Z because of it. And it's not because it's not a good car, because it's an amazing car. There were a couple of issues with production. They couldn't get them out to dealers all that quick, and there was a lot of confusion with the name. Is it the Nissan Z? Is it the 400Z? Is it still the 370Z? Is it the Z Performance? Well, technically, yes. And so I was actually sitting in my hotel room this morning, completely unplanned. I came across this Facebook reel or whatever you call it. Not only look at the caption of, wow, someone actually bought one, that's crazy, but then look at the tagged vehicle. At the bottom it says 400Z. That's not the name of this car. And so it was really hard for dealers to get them out to people. It was hard to find one on dealers' lots. The excitement for it kind of fizzled out, and then people found out that it shares a lot of chassis underpinnings with the 370Z, the outgoing 370Z. And that sort of offed people as well. And then the new Supra was out, and we liked that, and it kind of just got away from us. And that's such a doggone shame because this Z is so good. This car is special. And if it ever goes away, if it ever loses sale, if it ever doesn't sell well, it's not because it isn't good. It's because the powers that be don't want it to succeed. But if I had it my way, I would have one of these in my garage yesterday. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Nissan and Steve, particularly at Nissan, for setting up this review. I said I was going to be in Michigan for 36 hours. Can I get into a Z? And Nissan made it happen. They are absolutely wonderful. This has been such a great experience. And I have now officially fallen in love with with the Nissan Z. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.